Spider's back. I got some harsh lighting behind me. But I'm back. Here we go. They need it desperately. My rule. My CFL Red Zone rule. It's a natural. It's tailor-made for CFL 3-down football. Hit it! Lip syncing. No, I took it off there. You know, Apple's so screwed up on my CFL Red Zone Rule page. I couldn't find my short song, my Spider CFL Red Zone Rule. It's a mess. Apple software's a mess. Anyway, don't want to get into that. Anyway, I got a strange looking set here, but it's the last time I'm going to do this, and I said it was going to be the last time. I'm sorry, before I go back to my full set, but this is, I mean, this is a wide angle, and because Halloween's coming up, I got my Spider-Man. Well, partially you can see it on the far left. It's just opposite on the monitor. But it's pretty colorful. I set it up, took me like an hour and a half or so. It's a lot of work. And so there's my Spider CFL Red Zone Rule coffee cup my son gave me. And my son was home from Calgary with this lady, he's a fine lady. And he picked me up Church Brewery Company, Touchdown Atlantic in Wolfville. Look at this. See this? Oh, I can't probably see it. You probably see it better here with that sun. I should have put something darker on that window back there because it's phasing me out. You know, it's doing a number on me too. Anyway, sorry about that. So I have to move a little bit. Anyway, I'm a little late starting this morning. I had some work to do, even though I'm retired. Retarded. Sorry, retired. Some people don't like that joke, they get offended, but it's no big deal. But no, I used to decorate my house when I was younger, the whole thing. It used to take me almost a day and a half, literally. I kept buying things, Spider-Man theme. I was in my Spider-Man costume. My mother used to work for Suttles and Sea Wings, and she made that in Mahone Bay, and she made that in Nova Scotia, Mahone Bay, Nova Scotia, and she made basically that exact same replica of that, because I had that imprinted, okay? On the, but like on that, what do you call it? I don't know. Stand free, you know, like Spider-Man stand. I don't know what's the name of it. But anyway, I used to go on the roof, and I had the Spider-Man stuff, you know, the spray stuff. Like, it was crazy. I had over 250 kids come. That came from all over Halifax, and used to line up, and it was a big thing. I used to do it every year, and I won the CTV local contest for the best decorated Halloween house. And you know, I was dressed in the Spider-Man outfit, of course, and when they came with the cameras, and all the kids were dancing outside to Michael Jackson and you know, Thriller and the Guess Who, Clap for the Wolfman, and anyway, it was really cool. They filmed it and they showed it in the local news that night, and I was pretty proud. And they you know, I won top prize. They gave me some goodies and some $100 certificates for restaurants and CDs and everything. Like, it was pretty cool, and an award too. So that's the story on that. So I was always, my last name being Spydell, they always call me Spider, and then a lot of my friends call me Spider-Man. And that's how, actually one time when I was with Pentax of Canada, district sales manager, I dressed, that's what that picture is right there. I dressed in my Spider-Man uniform right there, outfit my mother made, and I actually called on my customers on Halloween in New Brunswick. And I did a good thing, because one of my customers' wife was dying with cancer. I went to the hospital in my Spider-Man outfit and cheered her up, so it was a good thing. So anyway, I'm sort of like a halo here. But anyway, let's get into the session. That's enough. Boy, I talked a lot. So basically, CFL has to adopt my CFL Red Zone Rule. I mean, it's a must, really and truly. And this is what this segment is going to be about. Plus, the other part is going to be the CFL is killing the CFL. And the other part will be, I have some news in Touchdown Atlantic 2023, some interesting news and some pretty pertinent news that you're going to be very excited about. So I got the insight of what's going on. Okay, there's a hat, and boy, they wanted this hat. They wanted to buy this hat off as the original Touchdown Atlantic hat at St. Mary's exhibition game between Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Toronto Argonauts that should have won in overtime. It was tied, but they don't play overtime only in regular season games, not in exhibition games. So anyway, I have about 4 of these left. I used to have a Grey Cup party here, and I used to have a contest. We do a 50-50, and I give a hat out too, with the with the 50-50 prize. So anyway, I got 4 or 5 of them left, and yeah, a couple from New Brunswick, New Moncton, they wanted to buy it off us, but I'm not going to sell it. No way. There's hardly any of them around. Anyway, let's get to the session. This is some fun. I got to get back playing drums with my wrist so I can get my timing back. But I got to get back doing it. I got so much on my plate. It's crazy when you're tired. You're in your house. You have so much on your plate, you know. But anyway, let's talk about CFL football. Interesting enough about my rule. We'll start right off with my CFL Red Zone rule. Interesting. In Montreal a couple of weeks ago, the Alouettes and who are they playing? BC Lions, I believe. Anyway, it was insane. It wasn't the last game they played the Argonauts. It was the game before. I think it was the BC Lions in Montreal. I believe so. It could have been the Ottawa Red Blacks. But anyway, they had 7 minimum. It might have been 8, but they had 7. And the other team had probably 4, at least 4. So that's 11 in one game. But the Alouettes had 7 inside the red zone, 2 down stops, resulting in more easy chip shot field goals that are, as you know, non-eventful, unappealing, distasteful, and they were booing the fans. That's what ruins our game, a 3-down game. And that's where the 4-down game, the NFL 4-down game, has it over us, because they don't have any such thing as a tune-out, because they're playing 3 down, and they go for it in 4th down. So, like I said before, we don't have to change. We don't have to go to 4 downs, but we have to go to my CFL Red Zone rule, because that will make our 3rd down a bigger down than the NFL 3rd down in the red zone. And that's what you have to do. You're competing with the NFL. Now you're going to be competing with the XFL. But you have to, the hash mark rule and all their other rules are so gimmicky. They were absolute joke, Randy and Brosie. The hash mark rule does nothing. And it looks so weird on a CFL size field that's 48%, 48% larger than the NFL field. They narrowed it, the hash mark rules. And you get more short passes and more tune-outs, and they even miss field goals from the 20-yard line. You know, come on, because of the narrow hash mark rule. It's ridiculous. It's not nothing like when Brosie said it was going to make CFL 3-down football the best brand of football in the world. You got to be kidding me. It made it the worst. And he said it was going to virtually eliminate tune-outs, and it actually increased tune-outs. And he said it was going to be huge, big passing plays down the field because of the hash mark for more touchdowns in CFL. What a bunch of BS. Seriously, what a bunch of bullshit, really and truly. None of it's true. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, when they had 4 big touchdowns one game against Saskatchewan, I think it was Labor Day, they weren't because of Randy and Brosie's gimmicky snow job, you know, bunch of BS hash mark rule. It's it's baloney. It's a con job. Like, come on, you know. Like that's why I'm calling them out. My CFL Red Zone rule, by the way. Let's go back to my CFL Red Zone rule and why it's a must, and why it's naturally tailor-made for a CFL 3-down game, and why the NFL could not steal it, because it unequivocally would not work with 4-down football. But it's perfectly tailor-made and meant for CFL 3-down football. It's a natural. And like Mr. Van Stone from the Regina Leader Post said, in 2021 and in 2022, by the way, same thing. The CFL couldn't have written a better script for my CFL Red Zone rule. And he said it has so much ammunition to prove why it should be made. part of our CFL 3-down game, and Farr and Lodgy endorsed it, and of course Steve Armitage and Rob Vanstone. But the reason it has so much ammunition, because all those like seven 2-down stops in the red zone, okay? Well, it might have been 6, but it was no less than 6, but I think it was 7. Imagine, in a game of football, how is that going to sell 3-down football? In the red zone, 2-down football stops resulting in another easy chip shot field goal in the red zone, or slightly outside, depending on where the 2nd-down stop was made in the red zone. Completely eliminated. 2-down football stops eliminate in the red zone, completely eliminated. Easy chip shot, non-eventful, distasteful field goals, easy chip shot field goals in the red zone, totally eliminated with my CFL Red Zone rule. So instead, can you imagine, replace that with my CFL Red Zone rule with the 20-yard line outline in red, okay, and the 2 20s on each side of the 20-yard line outline in red. They can put a graphic, CFL Red Zone rule logo graphic over top of it, TSN can, and with a sponsorship tag. You know, it's a money maker, okay? And what a bet it would be to see if they would score. My CFL Red Zone rule will be stopped, or even better, pushed outside the red zone, preventing my CFL Red Zone rule. So I'm just going to go over a scenario here. Just imagine. So the Alouettes, okay? And by the way, the CFL, my CFL Red Zone rule is there now, but the only time they use it and play 3-down football is when they're on the 1-yard line. That's it. When the 2-yard line, 3, 4, 5-yard line, up to the 20-yard line, they kick another easy chip shot field goal. Non-eventful, easy chip shot field goal that no CFL fan wants to see, especially in a 3-down game of football. And that's why they boo so loud. So anyway, they wouldn't be booing my CFL Red Zone rule, because they'd be playing exciting CFL 3-down football. And because my CFL Red Zone rule will be an enforcement rule, okay? It's an enforcement rule. So if the 3rd down's needed in the red zone and they're stopped on the 2nd down, they'll be playing exciting 3-down football to score a touchdown, okay, in the red zone. All right? So there's my phone going. Sorry about that. So that it'd be so much more exciting. The drama and excitement they would create in the red zone would be incredible. Okay? So they'd be going for it in 3rd down. And if they didn't score a touchdown or didn't turn the ball over, right, on a fumble or an interception, and they weren't forced outside the red zone in 3rd down, they would get my Spider CFL Red Zone rule kick, okay? Because it's an enforcement rule, okay? So where it's enforcement rule, if you're playing 2-down football in the CFL, which you are, going downfield to get a 1st down, okay, and get in the red zone, and because my CFL Red Zone rule is an enforcement rule, if they maintain possession of the ball on 3rd down, they don't score a touchdown, and they're not pushed outside the red zone, because if they are, they lose the Spider CFL Red Zone rule kick. But if they're not pushed outside the red zone 3rd down, they get Spider CFL Red Zone rule kick. From the 35, you add the 7 is from the 42, which is a challenging kick, by the way, which adds more drama and excitement to my CFL Red Zone rule. But it's a real bonus. So that's it in a nutshell. Okay? And by the way, with the 54.8%, I used to, for the 18% guarantee, this is a big selling feature of my CFL Red Zone rule. On that average, okay, which is around what the average is, it'll probably be around that this year too. Okay, it was ridiculous last year, 51%. It was insane. But at 54.8, 50.7 it was for 2 years consecutively, a few years ago. At that average percentage, if the 3rd down's needed in the red zone, my CFL Red Zone rule, it would be guaranteed 18% more touchdowns in the red zone amongst 9 CFL teams in the CFL with my CFL Red Zone rule, which would equal 50 more touchdowns, 200 more points. But when you take the spread between an easy chip shot field goal and a touchdown in the red zone, if the single point convert is successful, then you'd end up with 200 more points, 50 more touchdowns, of course, but 200 more points in the CFL. Imagine 50 more touchdowns amongst 9 CFL teams in the CFL, 18% increase of touchdowns in the red zone. You don't think that would sell CFL 3-down football? What would you rather see, that or a CFL team like 6 or 7 times or 5 times or 4 times play, stopped on 2nd down in the red zone, and you witness another boring, predictable, non-eventful, distasteful, where the fans boo like crazy, easy chip shot field goal that no CFL fan went to see, especially in the CFL 3-down game. So that's my CFL red zone rule in a nutshell, and that's why it's needed. It's a natural and it's tailor-made. And by the way, on my CFL red zone rule page, it's a Facebook page. There's 10 super features and benefits, and all my presentation that was supposedly supposed to be presented, Mr. Ambrosi promised me to the new CFL Innovation Rules Committee in this year of 2022. My presentation that I presented them, that was, by the way, that was revamped, and it was, I did a whole new presentation. That's up my CFL, SPYDER CFL Red Zone little Facebook page, and the whole presentation. You see the diagram, you see, you know, the banner, you see my hats, you see the whole presentation. It goes over my SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule in a nutshell. It goes over the optional provision part of my rule, which is an optional part, and which, by the way, I'll explain in a nutshell here too. So, and I think it would make my CFL Red Zone rule 100% foolproof, but it's almost that anyway. It's like the way it plays out on its own. But if CFL chose to add it, it's an optional part. But if they chose to add it, what would happen in the last 10 seconds, and the last would be the last 3 minutes or last 10 seconds of the game. Sorry, in the last half of the game. So, or it could be 2 halves, but if it was, same thing would apply, that a CFL team could opt on first, second, third down in the red zone to kick a field goal, either to tie the game or to win the game, okay, with my SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule. But that's an optional provisional part. You can read all about it in more detail on my SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule Facebook page. But also, in overtime, my CFL Red Zone rule would apply, okay, because there's no clock, right? So, anyway, so that's just an optional provision part, but it would make it 100% foolproof, but it's 99% now. So I like the way it plays out on its own, but it is a good feature, add-on feature to it. So that's my CFL Red Zone rule in a nutshell, and the 10 super features and benefits is there, my full presentation, my CFL Red Zone rule, and they are powerful. I mean, they are stunning. They're powerful. The numbers, the data, what it can do. 10 powerful key super features and benefits, and their key selling points. Like Steve Armitage told me, just in those my key selling points, my 10 super features and benefits, sells my CFL Red Zone rule hands down. But basically, the reason it wasn't adopted, okay, and why they just pushed it aside because of jealousy, because of ego, and that's what Mr. Armitage said. That's the only way it could not have been adopted, because it wasn't their baby, and they were jealous, and they have so much ego, and that's why they come up with all these gimmicky, to deflect my CFL Red Zone rule, this hash mark garbage rule. That's an absolute joke. Gimmicky, it's garbage, it's a snow job, it doesn't do anything. If anything, it makes our CFL game a lot worse, and which is proven this year. But Steve Armitage said that's the only way it possibly would be adopted. And that's exactly what they did. And they're trying to silence it and suppress it. So I have to find a way, and I'm still working on to get my CFL Red Zone out there, exposed to all the mass market, young generation sports fans in Canada, and all these CFL fans, all the NFL only fans, all the Major League Baseball fans, NBA, because a lot of them watch football, right? And Major League Soccer, all of them, they need to know what my SPYDER CFL Red Zone rules. So I need your help too, to get it out there. Talk it up, you know, call radio sports shows, you know, and talk up my SPYDER CFL Red Zone. Do it. It's got to be exposed, because Randy Ambrosie's trying to silence everybody, including Fire and Logie, Van Stone. They're all scared because they're making money, you know, as a reporter. Fire and Logie with TSN, with CFL, and same with Mr. Van Stone. He writes on the Saskatchewan Roughriders and on CFL. So they're not going to say anything, and that's the problem. So we as fans, we have to get it out there. Can you imagine a CFL game in a packed stadium, say in Winnipeg, and if a CFL team was in the red zone, they were booing, they wouldn't go for it on the 2-yard line, the 3 or 4 or 5, or you know, the 10, 15, 20, and you had 25, 30,000 CFL fans chanting, "We want SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule. We want SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule." Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? It's unbelievable. And I guarantee you my CFL Red Zone will be adopted. And that's what we have to do. That should be our ultimate goal, to achieve that, okay? I'm going to talk about the CFL and how they're killing the CFL. And I haven't got a lot of time. I got 7 minutes. So I did a lot of my CFL Red Zone rule, but I wanted to. Okay. I have Mitchell up there because I'm doing a tribute to him. Bo Levi Mitchell is going to actually play this weekend. It's the last game, a nothing game with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Saskatchewan Roughriders are out. Hamilton Tigers Cats are in. I got here are the teams right here. Stampeders, the BC Lions, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Montreal Alouettes, Argonauts, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Okay, I didn't miss anybody. They're the teams. They're the 6 teams in the CFL playoffs. So I'm going to go back to my full set for the CFL playoffs and the semi, the Eastern Western Final, and the Grey Cup. So I'm going to go back to my main set. Although I like, this is such a wide angle, so I'm so far away, and I'm probably really washed out here. I don't know if I can move over, Rover. Try to, maybe, do a little better. I don't know. I don't know if it's worse or what it is. Maybe I go this way. I don't know. Sorry about that. My face, I'm very fair, I'm going to be all washed out. So I only got so many minutes, so I got to get moving here. So why the CFL is killing the CFL, and that's exactly what they're doing. One-year contracts are absolute disaster in the CFL. They are killing the CFL. And now with the XFL coming, and even the quarterbacks, their contracts don't mean nothing. They can go to the NFL every year, like all void. It's why sign a contract in the CFL? Randy Ambrosie, you did this because you're in bed with the CFL, Canadian, the Player Association and the Canadian players, because you were part of them. And when the CFL wanted to get rid of the Canadian ratio, because no other professional sports league has a ratio like a Canadian ratio, that's watering down the league and really hurting the CFL. And look at the Saskatchewan Roughriders; their old lines because of the Canadian ratio. And Hamilton, all teams, Ottawa, Hamilton, Edmonton, they ended up, look, what they have, 3 wins, 4 wins. I mean, it's because of the Canadian ratio. You cannot have 9 competitive teams in the CFL with a Canadian ratio. And next year they're going to 8, it's going to be worse. Can you imagine? Because of Randy Ambrosie, he belonged to the Canadian Player Association, he fought the CFL in court, and against, which naturally CFL fans, football fans, and they'd be going to CFL games if they could see the best available players play. But no, you got to handcuff and dictate to CFL fans and to CFL coaches who starts and plays, because of Randy Ambrosie in bed with the Canadian Players Association, because he belonged to them. He fought them in court when the CFL wanted to get rid of the Canadian ratio. Like every other professional sports league, they wanted to play the best players. They want to. They would imagine if all the other professional sports leagues, like the NFL, imagine the NHL or the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, dictated who starts and plays because of ratio. Can you imagine? They'd be out of business. And that's why the CFL, it looks like they may be going out of business. I'm not kidding you. I have never seen. I mean, talking about attendance, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. Like saying there's 20,000 in Edmonton when there's only 2,000. Their attendance is Saskatchewan at a very important game, 14,000 people. Fajardo they took out, so he's on his way out. It's unbelievable. But Bo Levi Mitchell, I get the Calgary stuff up because, you know, it's a farewell to him because he's going to end up in Saskatchewan. That's what's going to happen. But listen, the one-year contracts, Randy Ambrosie, ballsy from a sports case, said he's the worst commissioner. And like, you know, the rules, the hash mark rule, that's just destroying the CFL. All their gimmicky rules are making our game worse. They need to stop my CFL Red Zone rule. It's like literally there every game, just staring them right in the eye, just waiting to be adopted. And the only reason they haven't, because a CFL fan, is because I came up with it and they didn't. Isn't that something? That's just unbelievable. That's how pompous they are, and how how egotistical they are. And that's why the CFL is in serious trouble. The Canadian ratio is killing them, not having my rule adopted, which they need, which by the way be more exciting down in the NFL third down in the red zone, a lot more exciting, a lot more drama. And it'd be more powerful down than their third down in the red zone. Because it put a real signature on our 3-down game of football. Okay, my CFL red zone role. That the 1-year contracts are brutal. Like, it's unbelievable. So I wish we would have had a little more time to talk about it. Did my son give me this? I want to talk about Touchdown Atlantic because I only get a couple minutes. Church, okay, brewery, Touchdown Atlantic, they were official beer for Touchdown Atlantic. But guess what? I was into the valley just recently to get some apples. And guess what? The stands are still up there. All the stands. The 10,000 seats makeshift stadium is still there. And that's a week ago. It's still there. It's still there. So they going back to Wolfville? Looks like they could be. But guess what? I was talking to someone that I met, that his father's the president of St. Mary's, and I was down to the construction site, and that's going to be by spring. They'll have that done, and it's not going to intrude. It's not going to enable them to put up the same makeshift stadium that they were going to, or would have been there, not in Wolfville, when it was shut down the pandemic. So they're going to be able to do it. So St. Mary's are pushing for it, and so is Wolfville. That's why the stands are still up there. So it's going to be either Wolfville or St. Mary's, and that's a fact. So I think it could go to St. Mary's, but just think about it. The stands is still there. It hasn't been removed. And I think, to tell you the truth, Wolfville, Nova Scotia, it's a better, with the Bay of Fundy, it's a better setting in the town with all the pubs and restaurants. But so sorry for that restaurant that burnt down. It looks like they're gonna rebuild it. But anyway, so Wolfville is a natural with the tailgate right behind the stadium and Acadia, and then all the pubs and patios all along. It goes right. It's like part of it. It's right there. It's all contained in one area. It's like a mini Grey Cup. It's cool how they've done it there. I mean, it's a natural, and there was so much paraphernalia, and CFL, they can go to 15,000 seats, by the way. I guess I'm finished for Touchdown Atlantic in Wolfville or St. Mary's. Okay, take care of yourself. Spider, here comes Spider CFL Red Zone Roll. Check out my Spider CFL